Many a time, business leaders and entrepreneurs tend to focus on getting the product right and assume that the right culture and ethics will come later simply by hiring good people. In fact, they need an early focus on developing their moral compass, as well as setting the right ethical tone. See, building an ethical business is more than just compliance and meeting legal requirements, and it has big paybacks. So as a chartered director and a fellow in the Institute of Directors, ethics, governance, code of conduct are key in the way I practice and advise business leaders. And one of the ways and keys to setting the right ethical tone is understanding and avoiding the myths and pitfalls of others. Now, there's a summary by Andrew Lee, an expert in this area, and reviewing his and adding a few specifics for business leaders on improving and sustaining that best company culture. Here is a summary that I'm going to outline of the cultural mistruths or untruths or cultural myths facing new business leaders. And take note of this and see how you can convert this to actionable strategies to be ethical and to implement this in the best possible way. So number one, they have 7 of them. Number one, business ethics are more about religion than management or leadership. See, behind this myth lies a confused belief that ethics are a means of altering people's values. Now, the reality is different. An ethical culture deals with managing values between the individuals and the company to best handle the inevitable conflicts that crop up in every business. Number 2, it's easy to be ethical. This myth ignores the complexity surrounding ethical decision-making, particularly within business organizations. Ethical decisions are seldom simple. For example, people often do not automatically know that they are facing an ethical choice. Any given individual may not recognize the moral scope of the issues involved. Number 3, hire only ethical people. So further time on business ethics is not needed. Now, this is usually an excuse for not developing ethical policies and practices. These can be as simple as how to handle customer overpayments, complaints, or even more complex in how to handle the choices every customer may face between conflicting customer and company interests. Number 4, business ethics are best left to philosophers and academics. Now, you can deal with this myth by sharing with colleagues some of the highly practical tools for making sense of the issue, such as ethics audits, behavior codes, risk strategies, targeted training, and leadership guidance. Now, business ethics is a discipline that must be practiced every day by everyone from the top, middle, and at the lower levels of the organization, across the entire network of the organization. That's very, very critical. And number 5, ethics can't be managed. See, while codes of behavior do not guarantee an ethical culture, they do clarify desired behavior and articulate for employees what is expected of them. Every business has complex and diverse dilemmas, which are not specifically covered in documented procedures. So employees need clear values leadership for guidance. And number 6, we've never broken the law, so we must be ethical. Now, many perfectly legal actions can still be deeply unethical. As an example, companies often realize that faulty products are slipping out, but they delay a recall, citing that strictly legal requirements are being met, or they're being compliant, or they're borderline. See, unethical behavior can even with something low-key, which initially goes unnoticed. Number 7, unethical behavior in business is just due to a few bad apples. In reality, most unethical behavior in business happens because the environment tolerates it, usually through neglect. When it comes to ethics, even good people tend to be followers. And if told to do something, they will do it without considering the ethical implications. So you see, company ethics are a prime example of where you and your company only get one chance for a first impression, and a great one at that. And if you lose it, it's almost impossible to regain. Don't follow the examples of institutions in the recent financial meltdown, or certain oil companies working offshore, or the many smaller company examples we've seen in our own neighborhoods. Every business, new or old, needs to remember that an ethical culture, or a lack of it, shows in the actual behavior and attitudes of all the team members, rather than just in policy documents and videos from the top. See, a successful business is far more than a good product and a good business and model. It's equally about projecting and executing with great culture. Now, most of the regulated businesses would have regulations and policies around code of conduct and so forth. But what about if you're not regulated, or even if you're regulated? So think about what your internal structure is and your culture, your ethics, how they're all integrated, and how you're actually executing your business strategies in association with them, keeping in mind your entire ecosystem. Now, can you vouch for the culture and ethics of your company from top to bottom? And is this embedded within your policies, your language, your business agenda at board and executive level? Reflect on this and implement the necessary tools, the skills, and the processes and the values